I have the pleasure of being joined today by both Jesse Hill, who's the co-founder and managing director at Horizon Digital, and Stephen Wallace, who's the co-founder of BeerOps. Gents, thanks for making time to catch up with me. Great to see you both.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for having me back.
Indeed. Jesse, I wonder if we can kick off with you to give us maybe firstly a 30,000 foot overview of your organization, Horizon Digital, a little bit of background about kind of what you to form the organization, a bit of history of it, and some insight into kind of, the types of offerings and services and solutions that you offer to the market, maybe even some example of the type of clients you engage and work with.
Yeah, sure. I guess, where we are at today, we have 40 odd people, and we work mainly across its custom application development. So building AI applications, web applications, mobile applications. Work with a pretty broad range of customers. So we have a pretty strong sort of, we call mid-market customers, and then we have some tier ones like, Rio Tinto, BHP, those type of customers, providing a range of services across those areas. And sort of how we got here, we founded just over 4 years ago. Um, I've worked in similar agencies, software agencies, for probably about 10 years prior, and it wasn't intentional founding the company. It was just came out. I'd been working in agencies. I left to go do something different. I was working in another tech consulting business, and a previous customer of ours reached out, and he had this really good opportunity to win this contract with a major utility company. And the short story was, he got down to it. I was working in a different job, and he won this contract and had to go live with the contract, with a new business and with a system in 6 weeks, to be able to receive jobs from this utility company every day. So I just got a friend of mine, Jason, who's the other co-founder. We just knew each other through the kids' school. Our kids went to school together, the same age. His background was software development. Mine was in agencies, but more on the customer side. And so, look, do you just want to help me build this system for this ex-customer of ours? And so we worked on nights and weekends. We got some developers we knew, and we managed to get this system live in 6 weeks. And I think it's a good story, but it also shows like what we're good at in terms of really just breaking things down and getting things done quickly and getting the sort of the minimum down to be able to go live. And it went live 14th of December 2020, so the end of the sort of COVID year. And then just sort of snowballed from there. We just picked up some other work, went into it full time, and 4 years later, we've grown. We've acquired another business along the way, and we're sort of where we're at today. We're sort of 40 odd people. Um, so yeah, that's sort of how we got there. It was sort of wasn't intentional, but when we went into it, we're like, well, we'll go fully into it and give it a good crack at trying to grow it.
Fantastic. It sounds like you're your own first customer in many ways, which is a great way to kind of prove that you've got the chops to build stuff for other people if you can do it for yourselves. What's a day in the life of Jesse Hill like, particularly your managing director, part of your role there at Horizon Digital? What are the sort of things that you deal with in your day-to-day remit?
Yeah, well, we're still, still a small business, so with 40 odd people, so you're still pretty hands-on with a lot of things. Most of my focus is on, working with customers, new customers, supporting our sort of sales accounts teams. And then we have some strategic things that we've been working on. So we have a really good relationship with AWS. We've been an AWS partner for a couple of years now. So we put a lot of effort into that, and that's been working really, really well for us. So a lot of those initiatives, and then working on sort of more of those sort of key sort of tier one customers as well. So it's pretty varied, and then it's right through to still running payroll and those sorts of things. So it's not at the point where we're fully hands off, but probably more on the customer side. And we have other teams that look after the delivery side of things.
I love it. It speaks directly to your people first approach, I guess, and it's also the perfect balance. I know from my own experience in business, it's actually nice to still kind of be hands on keyboard and client facing whilst juggling the admin, because once you get to the point where you're just doing nothing but running the business, it tends to get a bit tedious. Stephen, I wonder if you could maybe, from your point of view, give us a sense of kind of, introducing Horizon Digital as a BeerOps event partner and sponsor, and give us an overview of what it means to have Horizon Digital on board for the 2025 event season, all 4 events nationwide.
I'll tell you just a parallel story first of all, and it's essentially at our events, we always try to encourage the attendees to get out their comfort zone and say hi to 5 people, with the bar staff obviously not included, but go out and ask questions to ascertain how you can be of service. The whole theory is that if you first be of service and you genuinely follow up with these people, that the speed of trust is going to happen as a result. Now, back to your question, we had an issue a while back whereby our chatbot wasn't quite working according to spec. And we're just a bunch of volunteers that run this thing. So I put out a lucky advert onto LinkedIn, and I had this DM come back from this guy called Jesse saying, "I hear you might need a band." So Jesse, as a result, he's asking how we can be of service. He got our issues sorted out. He's got some very, very strong techs in behind. But it's that sort of thing that generally makes me feel that the relationship with Horizon Digital is less of a sponsorship and more of a partnership. I will help Jesse wherever I can, and I'm sure that he would do and will continue to do the same for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
right.
That's kind of the modern version of sliding into your DMs for business and networking these days, which I love. I need a t-shirt with that on it. Jesse, walk us through what sponsorship of the likes of BeerOps, Australia's largest tech networking event, means to Horizon Digital. I know you're investing in all of the 2025 events. What does BeerOps offer you and your organization?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the first time we're doing something really outside of WA, so we're Perth based, and we are starting to sort of work a bit more broadly. And I think, going back 18 months, I think it was the first Beer Ops in Perth, and being the first, we hadn't heard of it before. I know it was really strong on the East Coast, and we sort of, I can't remember how it came up, but we sort of saw it, got involved, spoke to Stephen. We had a sponsored table real last minute because we sort of hadn't heard about it until fairly late in the piece. So we went along, wasn't sure exactly what to expect, but I found it was probably, I don't know how many people you had there, but it was in the hundreds, and it
Millions,
was
millions,
millions, you reckon?
millions.
It was honestly, it was probably one of the best, tech networking events that I'd been to, and it was interesting because you had this big, real clear sort of 2 groups. You had the executive group where potential customers, and it was also having worked in technology in Perth for 14 years, there was a lot of people that had known previously, hadn't seen for a while, and so there was all these reconnecting with different people in different groups, and then you have this clear group of people that are out there looking for maybe new opportunities or roles. A lot of graduates come along, so you get sort of big difference. And yeah, it was just really interesting mix, and depending on what you're looking for, you can find potential customers, potential employees, or just reconnect with partners and old friends and that sort of thing. So it worked really well for us. We picked up some work from it. The opportunity with Rio Tinto came directly from BeerOps, from just meeting one of the people there randomly. So since then we've sort of supported the next Perth one, and then when the opportunity came up, through the stuff we're doing with AWS, we're looking at doing more stuff over East. So then we thought, well, it's let's give it a go, and we'll sort of branch out and sort of sponsor all of them and sort of see what happens, get our brand out there, get our name out there outside of WA as well.
Sounds great. It sounds like you're the poster child for the success story of what BeerOps is all about, increasing networking for individuals, but also opening doors for businesses, particularly sponsors and partners like yourselves. Stephen, you describe Horizon Digital, when we were talking earlier off camera, as a BeerOps partner above and beyond sponsorship. Can you sort of share some insight into kind of what that means?
Yeah, I think it's just, when the story that I just described about Jesse reaching out to see if he could help, there was never any mention, of any commercials involved. He just wanted, to be of service, first of all. And I think what immediately springs to mind for me is that somebody has got to have like a good sort of moral compass in addition to, business acumen, in behind it. So, I think that that's why I value the relationship. And that's why, it's always better when you can consider somebody a partner over a sponsor. Yeah. One of them, you're working for, and the other one you're working with. And I definitely prefer the latter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A partner bringing value to something as large as BeerOps is a huge bonus across the board, and it certainly gives attendees a lot more to a lot more value when they attend the events. With that in mind, Jesse, with regard to the attendees, what sort of thing can they look forward to from Horizon Digital at all four events this year with BeerOps? I imagine they can, obviously get the opportunity to talk to you and some of your team in person. They can network, learn more about your business overall and some of your offerings and services. But what are the sorts of things that you'd be looking to take to each of the events? You've alluded to some of those. I wonder if you can maybe just expand on what on the day might look like with regard to what Horizon Digital want to bring to the event and what sort of experience you want to offer for the attendees.
Yeah, well, I guess in terms of the other attendees well, other sort of exhibitors were a little bit different. So you will find there's sort of major tech companies, there's a lot of product companies, and we're one of there's a couple of us, but one of the sort of only sort of custom development agencies that sort of exhibit. So we're a bit different to the other guys that are out there. And I think, we've always had good conversations with people who are looking for jobs, giving them advice. We're open to all those sorts of things. We just share sort of our knowledge and experience. But it's a good opportunity to come and learn about the things that we're doing a bit differently. So, we're doing a lot of stuff in Gen AI, how we're using Gen AI for software development, as well as building AI applications for customers. So we're happy to share all of those things. We're pretty open with the things that we do. And yeah, I mean, at the last one we attended at the Perth one, there was a lot of conversations around that as well, around how we're using AI, how we're using Gen AI to improve our software development. So, and a lot of those conversations with people that, like Stephen said, not necessarily getting anything out of it in terms of a customer or employee or whatever, but it was just sharing that knowledge. So I think anyone that sort of wants to come along, it's really good for networking, but just general learning as well and seeing what's out there and talking to different people who've got different experiences.
Fantastic. It speaks directly to the nature of your organization by the sounds of things and very much the spirit of what BeerOps is about in the first place. Stephen, I wonder if you could just give us the latest news on the 2025 events and venues with that in mind, and maybe just a recap of the dates and locations for our audience tuning in and whoever else might be tuning in online later. But and any other details that you can share around the latest updates for the current upcoming events, particularly the Brisbane and Perth ones.
So I'm very excited to say that our new t-shirt design it's been out there, it's been voted on, it has gone to press today, but I'm not going to tell you any more about it. Otherwise, you're just going to lose sleep. It'll be like the day before Christmas. So yeah, we're kicking off the 2025 season in sunny Brisbane Vegas on the 19th of June, and then across to sunny Perth on the 1st of July. And then we have a few months reprieve just to make sure that we're going to give our best efforts to getting Melbourne sorted out on the 22nd of October. And then we're finishing up with Sydney towards the end of the year there. So there's still a few spots, by the way, for both Brisbane and for Perth from a sponsorship perspective. If anybody's interested, they can just reach out on sponsor@beerops.io or just pop along to the website, beerops.io. You can do /events there to get your tickets sorted out. We've got a contact form so you can get in touch. And we've got a chat bot that hopefully will give you some decent feedback as well.
Fantastic, and thanks to Horizon Digital, it now works. I'm waiting to see whether you got a light mode and dark mode t-shirt per my recommendation the last time we chatted, Stephen. So I hope to win that $5 bet. Jesse and Stephen, I've got the same question for both of you with regard to the attendees and planning for the event. And Jesse, I'll start with you. Any thoughts with regard to the best way attendees should be approaching the event with regard to planning prior, what they might look to be doing on the night itself, and then follow up post-event to get the most out of BeerOps, and particularly what Horizon Digital can offer them during the event itself? Jesse, I wonder if you
Yeah,
can
well,
maybe kick us off there.
yeah, well, I think like I said, there's two sort of clear sort of audiences. There's people who are looking at what opportunities are out there, and then there's people looking for maybe potential partners. But I think the approach is probably the same with both. The events are busy. There's a lot of people there, so if you do some research and look at who's exhibiting, get a bit of idea of who you want to talk to and what you might want to talk to them about, so you've got a purpose. Yeah, just do that little bit of research and then just go up and have the conversation. I always find that when you're exhibiting, it's amazing that there's a lot of people walking past, and they might have, as soon as they sort of, you can engage them in a conversation, then things change. But people can be a little bit reluctant to just go up and talk to you. So I think just be open to it, go and have the conversation. That's there's been some really good things that have come out of it. Like I said, like Rio Tinto. We did some work with a company called Duratec. Same thing. It was just coming out of having conversation, and it sort of led from there. So do your research, have a bit of a plan, but then go and just be open to meeting people and seeing what comes out of it.
Yeah, great advice. And I imagine, Jesse, that if someone has done their homework on what Horizon Digital does and can come with some great pre-prepared questions that kind of speak to their business problems, their challenges that you might be able to help them with, to just kick off some conversations, as you alluded to there a moment ago, on the night.
Yeah.
But also maybe follow you on LinkedIn. I imagine follow your company, follow yourselves individually as the team members of the company, maybe even reach out early. And would you like people to sort of reach out and see if they can pre-book some time with you on the night so that you know they're coming and they've committed to that sort of conversation as well? I imagine that's something that would be valuable as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They can contact us through our website or LinkedIn, or my personal LinkedIn is a good one. And I'll just add to what you said before. It's also, if you're going for the purpose of, you're a graduate or you're looking for a new opportunity, same thing, do some research on the companies that are there and go and talk to the ones that you think would be a good fit for you, and try and find out more, and show that you've got some interest, or what you can offer to that business, whether it's us or someone else. But do a bit of planning and you'll get the most out of it.
Fantastic. Now, Stephen, you've been doing this over a decade. I think we recently did an episode where you joked that you started at age 14 and now look at the state of you. After a decade or so of running these great events and building this amazing community, what are some of the top two or three things that you recommend on top of what Jesse's just outlined, which are all great tips? What's the best way for attendees to get the best out of what you're doing with BeerOps, particularly pre and post event? And obviously on the night, networking, going, meeting people, as Jesse alluded to, do some homework, know who's there, potentially even plan ahead to book some time with them so that they know you're coming and you've got a time slot booked out. But what are some of the other things that you can recommend for people to do that sort of around the ecosystem of the event itself?
So I think that just following on from what Jesse was saying there, I think that like if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail, right? So coming up with a bit of a game plan before you actually attend the event would probably be a good idea. You've done your research. You're a smart person, so you've decided that you're going to build your network, and you're going to dig that network a bit deeper. But I think in addition to getting out of your comfort zone, because I think that most developers are generally fairly sort of introverted, so would probably prefer to visit their own funeral than actually go up and say, "Hi, how are you?"
That's pretty severe.
Yeah, so I would suggest take a break.
Jesse's laughing. He
The,
probably
the
relates.
magic is the magic
Yes.
is definitely getting out of your comfort zone. Ask how
Right.
you can give service, but there's a specific way, a little tip that I can give you. All the techies like to talk techie stuff. You're going up to the sponsors, you're talking techie stuff. Why not put your business hat on? So IT facilitates the business, right? So don't, rather than saying what technology to use, you can find out what product people spruik or their company spruik, and ask, what business problems does that help to address? You've immediately differentiated yourself from everybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
What business problems do you help solve? That's awesome. You could use any technology to do that, but that's just a little sort of pro networking tip that I generally like to share and encourage people to use.
That's a great idea. Yeah. If I can add one or two quick points on that as well, I think the key thing for me when I'm at these sort of events is ask grown-up questions. Don't just ask me time-wasting things. Come along and ask, who am I? What do I do? What's my role entail? Look for something different than that. And ask grown-up questions about the business. What does it do? How does it facilitate that? What sort of market segment they feel? And really engage into the detail. Ask me to tell you more about what I do versus just sort of, what do you think of the event or whatever. And the second thing is, have your phone in your hand, but without being too obvious and rude, and have LinkedIn open. Click on the search bar and click on that little icon that brings up the QR code, the quick response code, so you can scan each other's contacts so that as you're going through the night and you decide you want to stay in touch with this person, quickly ask if you can just connect on LinkedIn. Because you could do 50, 60 of those in no time and then follow up for the week or two after the event with those contacts as opposed to trying to take notes or write them down or memorize them and lose context. But yeah, the really big one for me is just, ask me a sensible conversation, act like a grown up, whether you're introverted or not, and that will immediately get me engaged as opposed to just something or asking me what I think of the sausage sandwiches or whatever it might be. I wonder if we could just quickly wrap up, Jesse, with you first. Where can where can our audience go to learn more about Horizon Digital and the organization and some things you offer?
Yeah, I think I mean obviously our website horizondigital.au, but our LinkedIn page we keep pretty up to date with things that we're working on currently. So yeah, if you follow our LinkedIn, that's where we probably most active in terms of the most current stuff. So that's a good way, and you'll be able to find the people that work for us as well.
Fantastic. And we always invite people to not only follow you on LinkedIn and other platforms as an organization, but follow the individuals who are part of the team, see what the conversations are that you're having, and even engage and throw some likes and comments and reshares and some of this stuff you're doing, bring them into your own network. Stephen, similarly, where can our audience go to learn more about BeerOps and particularly look to register for the upcoming events in Brisbane and Perth?
Yeah, so I think the advice that I normally give is after you followed us on LinkedIn and after you've smashed our social handle BeerOps HQ, then excuse me, excuse, how unprofessional, phone going off. There we go, chuck it across. But after you've done those two things, then pop across to beerops.io website. We've got the events tab up the top. You can get your tickets sorted out. We've got a chat bot and we've got a contact form as well there. So many different ways to get in touch.
Fantastic. And folks, wherever you're seeing this video, whether it's on our video platform, vidneon.com, whether it's on our YouTube channel, whether you're seeing it on digital social platforms, we will have full details, including links and the appropriate handles tagging people for where to go and learn more about Horizon Digital and Jesse and the team, and certainly BeerOps and Stephen, his team. Do click those links, go visit the websites, learn about the event, and as Stephen said, register early. There's a great offer on the tickets right now. They're free. And get it early because there will be a lot of demand. Jesse, thank you so much for making time to catch up. Congratulations on Horizon Digital's partner sponsorship for the entire season this year for all four events in Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, and Sydney for BeerOps 2025. Really looking forward to seeing how that goes. And Stephen, congratulations on kicking off an amazing another year. I think it must be 11th or the 12th by now. And gents, really appreciate your time to join me here and share some details around the upcoming events with our audience. And we'll look forward to having you back again soon, maybe post Brisbane, and do a wrap up and see how that went for you. But in the meantime, safe travels, and we'll look forward to having you back again soon.
All right, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks
Liz.
very much.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yes.